I want to accept the protocol established by the leader of the opposition, and I want to recognize all the members of the platform. Mamai Flabo, Jordia Nuka celebrate anniversary United Workers' Party. 50 years of existence. The United Workers' Party was born in March 1964. And before we begin, March ends tomorrow, and we will not have an opportunity to say happy birthday to the United Workers' Party. And in saying happy birthday, what I want you to do, I want you to wish each other, anybody standing by you, happy birthday, United Workers' Party member. You can hug, you can shake hands, but wish each other happy birthday.
Happy birthday, UWP.
Ladies and gentlemen, we already told by Mr. Eldridge Stevens, who are the founding members of the United Workers' Party. But I want to mention once again Sir John George Melvin Compton as the father of the nation and the founding member of the United Workers' Party. At this time too, I want you to remember some of the parliamentarians who served this party and who have passed away. I tried to put down a few names here. Some of them were mentioned before. The great chairman of the United Workers' Party, Henry Jody. Sir George Mallet. The Bousquet brothers, Alan and JMG. Mr. St. Clair Daniel, our great Speaker of the House. Maurice Mason and Clendon Mason. Vincent Monrose. Romanas Lancico. John Bristol. Edward Innocent. And the man who served Mick enough and never failed, Louis George. Christopher Alcender of Soufriere as well. I also want you to remember all the foot soldiers and all the supporters of this party who served this party to make life better for all St. Lucians. All the persons that are in your constituency, you can remember, who worked very hard to serve this party. In 1964, ladies and gentlemen, when the United Workers' Party was formed, St. Lucia was underdeveloped. And I hope you understand what I mean by that. St. Lucia was not as it is today. And I want the older folks to educate the younger ones, because the younger ones wouldn't know what happened in the past. Before I start, let me tell you, the area you are standing here, in 1964, it was not like this at all. It was called the Mayat area, with a lot of sandflies, mosquitoes, bois guillet, and all kinds of things. And you know who made it look like it is today? the United Workers' Party, first of all, with the establishment of the Micoud Junior Secondary School under Canadian aid. In 1970, that school was opened. It was called the Maple Leaf Junior Secondary School. And the Canadians gave St. Lucia 4 of those schools under the reign of Sir John Compton. There were 4 schools, one in the north in Entropo, one in the east in Micoud, one in the south in Vieux-Fort, and one in Soufrière. These 4 secondary schools, junior secondary schools, came through the assistance of the Canadian, and it was Sir John Melvin Compton who represented St. Lucia and ensured that we had these 4 schools. And since then, you can see the Micoud Primary School, the playing field, the East Coast Highway. It used to go through the village. But in 1975, when the East Coast Road was built, they bypassed the village and it went through, making it more possible for people to develop on both sides of the road. And all that was done by the United Workers' Party. And I'm sure a number of young people don't know. And you, the persons who were there at that time, must tell them what happened. Let us not let our history be forgotten. The United Workers' Party, when I said St. Lucia was underdeveloped in 1964, the aim of the United Workers' Party was to make life better for all St. Lucians. The party began the development of St. Lucia in a number of different aspects, because we had a number of issues, and I want to take time just to mention a few. We had a number of health issues in 1964. In 1964, we had what was known as a high infant mortality rate. Sabo vedi pasa, Oshai timamai ki te ka fet kamo. High infant mortality rate. And when Sir John and the United Workers' Party recognized that, they decided to do something about that. And what they did was to begin to build health centers all over St. Lucia, so that mothers could go to the health centers for prenatal care, to go to clinic before they have their babies, and to ensure that we did not have so many babies dying. So that was a very, very important aspect of the development of St. Lucia through the United Workers' Party. We also had during that time a number of diseases and epidemics. I don't know whether you remember during that time, we used to have typhoid in St. Lucia. And I can remember as a teacher of the Deriso Combined School, we were forced to close school for 6 weeks because of a typhoid epidemic. And that was because we did not have the health facilities and we did not have the doctors to ensure that our people lived a healthy life. But under the United Workers' Party, we were able to eradicate typhoid. We were also able to eradicate infant mortality. You will also remember during that time, and I'm sure our young people don't know, and you should tell them, we also had bilharzia. Bilharzia in the rivers. People used to get sick. And what the United Workers' Party government had to do was to find help from the United States, from the Rockefeller Institution. The Rockefeller Institution set up a hospital on the Mon to treat persons who suffered from bilharzia. And the government decided to improve the water situation in St. Lucia, make sure that people had pipe-borne water. I remember this very clearly. They began to ensure that people had pipe-borne water because of the bilharzia, so that people would not go to the rivers to bathe and get sick. So I want you to remember that. And you must also tell the young people of those things, because they don't know of those things. In education, ladies and gentlemen, the people of St. Lucia, a number of people of St. Lucia could not go to school. They could not read and write. A number of our persons could not speak English around 1964. And the reason was because we did not have enough schools in St. Lucia. We needed more primary schools and we needed secondary schools. And I told you already, there were 4 junior secondary schools established in 1970 by the United Workers' Party. And since then, the United Workers' Party was able to develop 18 secondary schools in St. Lucia and primary schools all over St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1964, when the United Workers' Party was born, there were only 3 secondary schools in St. Lucia. In 1964, there were only 3 secondary schools in St. Lucia. There was the St. Mary's College, the St. Joseph's Convent, and the Viewfort Secondary School was opened in 1964. So we did not have secondary education at all. And a number of our students did not get an opportunity to go to secondary school. But by the time there was a change of government, the United Workers' Party had already established 18 secondary schools in St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, in 1964 and just before 1964, our economy was based on the plantation system. People only got work through the plantations, and we had plantations all over St. Lucia, especially the sugarcane plantations. We had them all around. In Lacaille, we had them in Vieux-Fort, we had them in Canels, we had them in Soufrière, all over. And when the United Workers' Party was born in 1964, the party decided to ensure that St. Lucia was on a better and stronger economic footing. And what the party did, the party decided to make sure that persons lived an independent life. And as a result, we had the commencement of the banana industry in 1964. And you know, that industry grew, where a number of our farmers were able to cultivate their own plot of land, build their own homes, buy their own vehicles, and send their children to school. And I am sure you can remember during that time, the bananas was considered green gold. Not anymore. Not anymore. We have a problem with the banana industry. And when the United Workers' Party came into power in 2006, the United Workers' Party improved the banana cultivation situation in St. Lucia. But again, it has gone down the drain. Ladies and gentlemen, the United Workers' Party also built its economy on 3 things. They call it the tripod. Sir John called it the tripod. They didn't depend on tourism alone. It was tourism, agriculture, and manufacture. These three things together help to propel the economy and make life better for St. Lucia. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to refer to a day which the United Workers' Party called the Development Day. They called it the D-Day. I mean, some people may remember that. And that was celebrated in Beaufort at the Halcyon Days, where the United Workers' Party celebrated D-Day, which was the development of the South in particular. The East Coast Road was being built at that time. That was around 1975. And the airport in Beaufort was also being developed. And I remember on that D-Day, we had jets for the first time, jets flying into St. Lucia. And you had jets like the BOAC. I don't know if persons remember that. We had BWIA, we had Pan Am and Eastern Airlines. I'm sure some of you remember those airlines. And I remember on D-Day, people were given, St. Lucians were given a free ride on those planes around circling St. Lucia to ensure that this was the commencement of jets flying into the Beaufort Airport. That in itself helped the economy to grow and helped to bring more tourists to St. Lucia. Our young people wouldn't know of those things, but I want those persons who remember to tell them of those things, because they wouldn't know what happened. With the banana industry, ladies and gentlemen, which became green gold, the United Workers' Party ensured that there were feeder roads to remove the bananas from the interior into the towns of Beaufort, or into the harbor of Beaufort and Castries. And that is how a number of our road networks began to develop. But what is happening now? A number of those roads are being neglected. If you go around the rural areas, for example, in my constituency of Micoud South, there was that road from Tiroche via Calypso, Blasha into Deriso. And that road remained unrepaired, or nothing was done about it for the 10 years that the Labour Party remained in power. And when we came into power in 2006, we reopened that road. And people are now able to travel from that road down that way. So the United Workers' Party is concerned about the development of its people. It ensured that the underprivileged and the disadvantaged were given the necessary assistance to help them grow and develop. And the United Workers' Party did this during that time by ensuring that there were schools that the children could attend. There were health centers in the area. There were roads in the area, in the different areas. And there was also economic activity in the areas to help our people grow and develop. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I can take the whole afternoon to go on and tell you what the United Workers' Party did and how hard they worked to ensure that things were better for St. Lucia. But I will leave it to some other people to say some more, because I am there to speak only about what happened yesterday. You will get a version of what happened today and then beyond. I want to thank you for being here, and I want you always to remember